Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, EAC and PTC are coming together. We have Dimitri, a PTC technical specialist, and we're going to be talking about Vuforia Expert Capture. It's a fantastic tool that's part of the Vuforia family that can really help preserve the manufacturing skill set with the help of AR as people are coming and going from a company and need training. Dimitri will show you more. So I'm just going to do a brief introduction to EAC before we jump into things. Some of you may not know us. We are a product development solutions company dedicated to transforming the way companies design, manufacture, connect to, and service their products. We were founded in 1996, primarily offering engineering and analysis services. And then as we expanded our portfolio to really include everything a company needs to design, develop, manufacture, service, and support products, we became one of the leading partners of PTC, bringing their technologies to the market and also offer services. We become experts in over 22 areas of product development that really kind of address all the needs and the tasks that you, the people on this webinar, do day in and day out, trying to get things to market, be as profitable as possible, make sure that you're capturing data and working as smart as you possibly can. We have more than 75 professionals and have locations throughout the country. Now, I mentioned that we started as an engineering and design firm, and we've expanded what we offer to really bring you everything you might need from start to finish when coming up with an idea, bring it to market, servicing, all those things. That includes engineering services. So if you need engineering, design help, FEA, CFD, simulation help, we have engineers and designers on staff that can work as an extension of your team, or even work as your team if you don't have an in-house team. We also have a training group that can provide on-site mentoring and training, or allow you to bring your people to any of our training centers throughout the US to get trained up on the technology or the ideas that we help bring to market. And then we have product development consulting and a few other services like implementation services. If you get a software and need help installing it, or you'd like to have someone on our team act as your admin, we have teams for that too. Make sure that everything is always installed and running as smoothly as possible. And then finally, you'll see that software piece in the circle. That's the piece that kind of encompasses our partnership with PTC and why Dimitri's on the call today. We work very closely with them as one of their leading partners to bring things like Creo for CAD software, Vuforia for AR, the ThingWorks suite for Internet of Things connectivity and industrial IoT, and Windchill for smart connected operations, PLM, PDM, kind of bringing all of your data sources together. And we are proud to bring those to market. We think they are the leading tool set from kind of cradle to grave for product development companies, whether you are coming up with an idea, managing data, connecting to your products and your customers, servicing those products, and training your staff. It's all here. We also offer some hardware, and we are the commercial partner for Formlabs desktop 3D printers. So if you are in the market for incredibly high quality 3D printers for your prototypes, please reach out to us. We have specialists dedicated to knowing the ins and outs and perfect use cases for the Formlabs printers. These start at under $4,000, everything you need to start printing. So it's professional level, like $50,000, $100,000 print quality from machines that start at $4,000. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to reach out after the presentation. Without any further ado, Dimitri, if you want to take it away and tell us a little more about Vuforia Expert Capture.
So we'll begin today just by going through some slides so you guys understand, what are some of the challenges customers are facing when they're going into this space, and how Expert Capture and its capabilities will help solve those challenges. Then we'll go ahead and go through a demonstration where we walk you through the whole process. First stage will be going through and following an expert capturing a session, and then we'll go in through the editor phase, and finally we'll show an end user following those instructions we created. And so without further ado, we will begin here. So as I said, there are a lot of challenges here. So one of them could be that maybe There are no pre-existing assets to create these step-by-step instructions. Also, work and training instructions might either be non-existent or be of poor quality. And then relevant CAD data or documented procedures are unavailable. And then there's also highly regulated standards for safety as well as compliance. And so Expert Capture is the fastest and easiest way to create a powerful AR-enabled instructions that do empower frontline workers. So it provides up-to-date information on how to successfully perform tasks when and where workers need it most in the real world context of their daily work environment. Creating these high-value AR content really has never been faster and easier. And so what are the capabilities of Expert Capture? So you'll have accelerated authoring and publishing for step-by-step instructions without the need for CAD data or pre-existing assets or development efforts. You'll be able to save time with easy-to-use templates that make content creation and publishing easy and convenient. And then you'll be able to connect steps in a procedure to specific objects and locations. So location awareness capabilities of Microsoft HoloLens can be leveraged to connect each step of the procedure to specific objects and locations. So that providing safe and accurate guidance for those frontline workers. And then empower those frontline workers across a variety of supported devices. So provided AR guided expertise when and where it's needed, whether it's through hands-free wearables or mobile devices across the enterprise. And so at this point, we will jump into the demonstration.
All right, perfect. I don't see any questions in the queue, so feel free to keep rolling.
All right. So as I mentioned, in this demonstration, we'll start off by acting as the expert. So we're using the solution to create and share a multi-step lab procedure to prepare and analyze a sample using a mass spectrometer. So here, our expert, she will be wearing a RealWear device loaded with the Vuforia Expert Capture app to record the required steps in the procedure. So acting as the expert, she'll start out by taking the calibration samples box out of the refrigerator. We'll take a photo of the box and view it in preview mode by using the voice commands take photo and preview. And so the expert can easily tag bookmarks within a step to highlight critical moments, maybe to be further explained or elaborated upon later in the refinement process. And so as the expert is hands-free, you'll see that everything is done through these voice commands. And so the expert can also add audio instructions to go along with the visual instructions we are creating. So these wearable devices will understand whether you are inputting a voice command or whether you're just overlaying some audio instructions. But here in this case, we're happy, so we'll say next step. And for step 3 here, we'll go over to our pipetter station, locate our pipetter, and set it to 500 microliters. Once that's set, she'll say take photo, and we'll take a photo of the pipetter set here at 500 microliters. And then the next few steps here are a little bit repetitive, so we'll go ahead and skip to our step 7. And so here, what we're going to do is open up rack A and place the vial in row 8. And so we'll do this by taking a photo to identify that exact location where the vial will be used or placed, and then we can go ahead and say next step when we are ready. And so as you guys are noticing, this is different than our PTC's Vuforia Studio AR, as that requires CAD data. So Expert Capture really comes in handy where maybe you don't have CAD data on a piece of equipment, or maybe you're running around a factory floor or a laboratory like we're doing here, and that kind of AR just doesn't make sense. So here for our step here, we're at our mass spectrometer, and we're just pointing to the end user that there needs to be a sample, a tight fit between port C and the mass spec, and just pointing out to the spot where the end user should be focusing. And then to finish our procedure, we'll head over to the computer. We'll simply open the method program and select a run to begin the analysis. And so to end this procedure, we use the voice command finish capture. We'll say edit title. So we'll save a title for the procedure. We'll just call it mass spec demo, and then we can go ahead and save capture. So with Vuforia Expert Capture, creating and sharing these easy to follow instructions can be done anywhere, anytime, simply by recording the expert while they're at work. And so now we're moving on to our editor stage. So this is a web-based editing environment where we will review, fine-tune, and then publish the content that we just created. We'll start by plugging in our RealWear device to our computer and transfer the files from the device onto the computer. And so what you're seeing here on the right is these steps will automatically be updated as we go along. So every time our expert said next step, the application created that step for you. Now you will have to still manually input the descriptive text. So here for step 1 on the right, you guys can see it says, take the calibration standards box out of the refrigerator. Here you will still have to manually put that in, but it is on the roadmap for that to update with the expert's audio as well. And then on the left-hand side, you guys can see this is where all our assets will be. So we can have assets from our session we just had, from previous sessions, or you could have legacy content as well. So these top 8 pictures we see up here is just some extra images that we thought were important to include in the process. And then our videos here. So again, videos from this session or any previous session are available. And so we'll quickly show you how we would manually create a step here. So for step 7, we'll just press add step. We'll add some descriptive text. And then we'll just simply drag and drop our assets onto that step. So this was built out to be, intuitive. There really is no training required. Anybody can really come here, whether they're the expert recording the steps or they're, editing the steps here in the editor. It was built for just about anybody to go in here and be able to do so. And so we'll just quickly do the same thing for step 8. And then instead of boring you with another step here, we'll just skip through that. So once we have what we are looking for, we can actually go to the top right corner, select our share tab, and publish our procedure. And so once that's published, now our end user, all they have to do is download this QR code, and they can actually go ahead and follow the instructions we just created. And so just want to quickly here before I get into the last part, just so you guys understand, the expert does need to be wearing a wearable device. The wearable devices that Expert Capture works with are Microsoft HoloLens, RealWear, which is the device being used in the demo here, as well as Vuzix. However, the end user does not have to consume it through a wearable. So it will, whatever device you're consuming it on, these will format automatically to that device. So if they want to use their iPad or a phone, they could do so as well. And so what you're going to be seeing here, though, is the end user will be wearing a RealWear device, and you're going to be seeing exactly what they're looking at. So here, for the first step, they'll see the descriptive text. Now, if there's more than one asset, so maybe if you just had one photo or one video, that would automatically show. But since we do have multiple assets here, the end user will use the voice command open to be able to take a look at those assets that are available. So you're not hearing the audio from the expert, but accompanying this visual video is also the audio of the expert as well. And then he'll say things like next to see the next step here. And then we'll just quickly follow him right here, following the step. And then step 3 is actually going to be just a video. So that will automatically play for our end user. And so he'll go ahead and set the micropipetter to 500 microliters. Now, once he's done that, we'll do something a little different here. So instead of boring you guys with the next 6 steps, we'll do something a little different. We'll say menu to see our menu screen, and then we'll say show step list to see all the steps in the procedure. So you might be confident in the next few steps, but unsure of step 9. So you could say step 9 to skip ahead. And this is a special step because it includes legacy content we dragged and dropped from our desktop instead of the editor tool itself. So in this case, we have a diagram of a mass spec, as well as some graphical results to help compare us to our final results later in the process. And then once we run the analysis, we can compare our results to the graphical results shown, or we can say back to overview to navigate back to the starting page. So Vuforia Expert Capture does allow the enterprise to multiply here the expertise of your organization. And just to conclude here, I do want to finish off with a couple slides here. So just so we can hit home, really what is the value of expert capture in both manufacturing and service? So first, for manufacturing, you'll be able to improve your workforce productivity and efficiency. So reduce turnover and attrition, improve knowledge transfer and training, as well as improve new hire productivity. Then we can reduce waste and improve quality by reducing scrap and rework costs, reduce unscheduled downtime, as well as increase revenue. And then finally here, reduce operational costs by reducing safety and compliance costs and reducing maintenance time and costs. For service, we're actually going to improve work efficiency by reducing attrition, improving training, as well as productivity. We can increase service revenue. We'll gain a competitive advantage here, creating new opportunities as well as increasing renewals. You'll also increase customer satisfaction, so increase your first time fix rate, reduce mean time to repair, as well as decrease downtime. And then finally, reduce your service costs by lowering those travel costs of having to send technicians out, of reducing safety incidents, as well as decreasing the labor costs.
Excellent, Dimitri. There's a question in the queue wondering whether or not the system captures successful completion of tasks for checking on learning after the fact.
Yep, you can definitely do that. Correct.
Okay, excellent. I will talk for about 30 seconds here and give everyone else a chance to type any questions into the queue. But this is an excellent way, as you mentioned on the last slide, to kind of capture the knowledge in an organization, whether it's an aging workforce issue where there might be retirement or attrition coming up, or if they're in a high turnover kind of situation where you want to easily capture training once and have a bunch of different people view the training, or simply making sure that you are consistently and accurately training people and providing information across your organization. There are a ton of use cases for a tool like Vuforia Expert Capture, and I hope people kind of saw how it works and are kind of mulling over how it could apply to their organization. And if you have any questions about anything you saw, feel free to reply to the follow-up email